Hey, good evening. Man, I really did not want to do this show tonight. It's hard talking about a team that is this disappointing. Um, and it's not just, that they're losing games, and we've been through 12 years of this already. I think for me it's more that we're not seeing anyone really. We're seeing guys talk about it in the locker room, but we're not seeing like any like hard pushback on the ice or doing things that we've allowed teams to get under our skin, but we don't do that to other teams. Um, and it's been difficult to watch this continue, and I don't know a path forward. Now, Kevin Adams thinks that there's a path forward. That's adding a little more grit to the lineup. So yesterday he went out and traded to Columbus for a guy named Eric Robinson. Now, I'm a hockey fan. I watch a lot of hockey. I got the ESPN package for years before that. I subscribed to NHL Center Ice. I love hockey. Now, it could be the fact that I live close to Pittsburgh. I'm 3 hours from Pittsburgh, so te Pittsburgh and Washington are the local teams for us, and Pittsburgh actually has a blackout on Columbus, so I don't watch a whole lot of Columbus games. When, I get a chance to, I will watch them because they're one of the teams I don't get a chance to watch a lot. I have never seen Eric Robinson. Absolutely not noticeable on the team. But we acquired Eric Robinson from the Columbus Blue Jackets for a conditional seventh round pick in 2025. Now, there is no risk to this trade because if he plays great, great. Well, throw, seventh round pick and not this coming up draft, but the next draft is not bad. But if he sucks and we don't play him, then we actually lose nothing, at least according to some of the reports I saw from actually very reputable sources on Twitter, Sabres beat writers and stuff like that. I think Paul Hamilton said it. Lance Lasowski. If he misses 11 games or more than 11 games, so he sits out 12 games the rest of the season because the Sabres have like 56 or so games left. The Sabres don't give up anything. So he has to play most of the rest of the season for the Columbus Blue Jackets to bring him in or to get that seventh round draft pick. Now, it's not a huge loss for Columbus if they don't get the seventh round draft pick in 2025, second one. It's hard to move those. Um, they're kind of a throwaway pick. I mean, yeah, for every Victor Olofsson that you can pick in the seventh round of the draft, like 90% of them are kind of like guys that you will never see in North America, guys that will not get signed. Um, so we've had some gems. I mean, hell, Devin Levi is a seventh round draft pick, but for every one of those, there's 100 draft picks that just don't go anywhere that go in the seventh round. So, our player profile tonight. While we're talking about him, let's do our player profile tonight, and that is Eric Robinson. So Eric Robinson was American professional hockey ice winger. Wow, they say that really weird in Wikipedia because I had to look him up. He's from New Jersey. Played at Gloucester Catholic High School and graduated in 2013. He is a left winger. He is now with the Buffalo Sabres. He started his career. Was he drafted at all? He went undrafted. Um, let's see. He played Team Comcast, which already makes me hate him. I hate Comcast. Uh, did play in the USHL with the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Had 24 points in 50 games. Went to Princeton, so an intelligent guy. For 4 years at Princeton. Signs out of hockey, or I'm sorry, ECAC, the conference there for Princeton. Had a decent career. He was not quite a point a game player in college. 31 points in 36 games his senior season. Did have 44 penalty minutes, which is pretty good for a college player. And he's played with Columbus. Got a game in Columbus in 2017, 2018. He was signed out of college. Played with the Cleveland Monsters, but he has played uh, a decent amount in the NHL level. He had 45 games with the Cleveland Monsters in 2018-19. Um, 14 games in 2019-2020, but pretty much for the most part since then he's played with Columbus. 50 games in 2019-2020. In 2020-2021 he scored or he played in 56 games, 67 games in 21-22, and last season played in 72 games, so a career high last year, and had career high in goals and points with 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points. So not a massive scorer. He also doesn't have a ton of penalty minutes, so he's not like a pugilist or anything like that. Um, so I'll reserve judgment on his total game. He has played split time between Cleveland and Columbus this season. 9 games in Cleveland, a goal and 3 assists, and one. I'm sorry, 7 games in Columbus this season with a goal to his name. For his career, 266 games, 38 goals, 44 assists, 82 points, and then 41 penalty minutes. He played, let's see, in the World Championships with the United States in 2021. Got a bronze medal with the U.S. team. Had 3 assists in the World Championships, and he was an ECAC All Tournament Team selectee in 2018, his final season. So, um, again, I don't know. We can see. We'll see what happens. Again, this is fairly risk free for the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, he costs a roster spot, but honestly, they can send him down and not. If he's not performing, they can send him down. Maybe he gets claimed off of waivers, but you know we we're not venturing much into this trade, so we'll see what happens with Eric Robinson. Somebody last night posted that it was Tyson Jost 2.0. He's taller than Tyson Jost, that's for sure. He's 6'2", 201. So a decent sized player. All right. So once again, just a travesty of night of hockey. A lot of people will say, "Oh, well, they came back in the third period." Uh, the problem with the Buffalo Sabres, you can't go down. The stat of the night: Sabres are 3-13-1 when opponents score first. First off, 20 some odd games into the season, you shouldn't have uh, 17 games where you've allowed the opponent to score first. If you're a decent team, you're much more closer to having half your games, and if you're a good team, it's less than that. The Boston has a plus 10 goal differential in the first period. Sabres have a negative 17 goal differential, so 17 goals, more goals scored against the Sabres than they've scored. Um, I saw, I believe Lance Lasowski said that. A year ago, Buffalo was leading the NHL in scoring at 104 goals, and this year they're at 74. So 30 goal differential between this season and last season. Um, so let's take a look at the Wings game from the other night. Early goals, once again, it's a big theme. Uh, they're down 1-0, and almost 4 minutes in. It was a beautiful goal. I mean, I can't really fault Comrie too much on that one. I mean, it was just a great one timer. Um, Again, the defensive systems, the structure of the defense for the Buffalo Sabres has just gone right in the toilet. And I don't know what it is, because I think the guy that they brought in, Ryan Johnson's played well. He had one rough game against St. Louis, but I think he's played well since he's been here. But the guys that we brought in, like Connor Clifton, have been rough, awful, and they're getting worse. Comrie was awful. I mean, I think he allowed 4 goals on like 15 shots, maybe. That's not a good number. You can't do that. Um, they did have pushback. You had the late second period goal by Darlene. Skinner scores. I think Middlestat scored the third goal, makes it 4-3, makes it interesting going into the end of the game. They have a power play, pull the goalie 6-on-4, empty netter. Um, Game's over 5-3. Detroit wins that game. Again, it's that early. You're fighting from behind, and the Sabres are just not good enough right now to be able to come back from an early deficit. And few teams are good enough to come back from a 4 goal different deficit. Um, they did give a good effort to try and come back, but had they actually expended some of that effort in the first period, maybe we're not having that conversation tonight. But they're not. Something with this team is not allowing them to play, come ready to play. Um, and I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. But whatever they're doing is not working, and they need to fix it. And that leads to, I'll tell you, the other time this season I felt more negative, or as negative going into a game was when we got roped by New Jersey 7-2, and then we were playing the Rangers, who were leading the NHL at the time. Um, I thought that we're just here for another beating. So tonight we're playing the Boston Bruins, 17-4-3 on the season, first place in the Atlantic Division, way above us, 17 points ahead of the Buffalo Sabres at this point. They've won 3 in a row after dropping 3, and, they're led by David Pastrnak with, 14 goals, 22 assists, and 36 points. He is the Treble Crown winner for that team. Um, most of the other guys on that team, their scorers are kind of around this, level of the Buffalo Sabres, so it feels like the key is if you can stop Pastrnak, which we didn't do in the first game, maybe you have a chance. We are I just got some word that, Jeremy Swayman is sick, so we probably will be seeing Linus Ullmark tonight, although the original line pairings were saying that, Swayman was gonna get the Nets tonight. Um, but, Swayman is, marginally better than Linus Ullmark, but the team goaltending for the Buffalo or for the, Boston Bruins is phenomenal. Sub 2.25, goals against the game, and, 9.28 save percentage. It was absolutely ridiculous save percentage for a team. It's good if you have one goaltender playing that well. It's another thing if you it doesn't matter who you're throwing in the nets. Um, the Bruins projected lines for tonight, we got DeBrusk, Zaka, and Pasternak on the first line. Brad Marchand, Charlie Coyle, and Connor Geeky. Connor Geeky missed the first game with the Sabres, so he draws into the lineup. James Van Riemsdyk, Michael Poitras, and Trent Frederick, the guy who got slapped upside the head by um, the Rangers guy. Can't believe he didn't get suspended for that. And then Jeremy Lauko, Beecher, and Steen on the fourth line. Um, all four lines are dangerous. The fourth line is going to try and run you through the boards. Um, and the Sabres have been. It feels like when they play, they turn towards danger. So if you're having problems keeping possession of the puck or getting the puck out of the zone, uh, I almost the worst thing you can do is just put your back to the play and pray that you can hold it along the wall for a long time. Um, try and get the puck. You don't want to throw a pass up the middle, but at least get yourself away from the wall and give yourself some outs, some areas to move to, rather than putting yourself on the wall. And it feels like they've been doing that, and that is what Boston will do. They will get on you, and they will stay on you on the wall and just wear you down. Boston Bruins projected defensive pairings: Grizelchik, Grizzly. That's it, Grizzly. Can't remember how to pronounce his name. With Charlie McAvoy, Hampus Lindholm, and Brendan Carlo. Lowry and Shattenkirk on that third pairing. I think Mason Lowry, I want to say he's like the first NHL player from Louisiana. That's a stat I heard last time the Bruins and the Sabres played. So interesting. Goalies tonight, Umark versus Swayman is in net. Swayman is backing up. The interesting story out of the Bruins today is that Tuukka Rask actually took the ice this afternoon during practice, and there was talk that he might be the e-bug, but I guess they've kind of quashed that. But in case Ullmark stinks up the joint, I don't know that they're going to have Swayman ready to back him up. The Bruins scratches Milan Lucic for being a piece of shit, and Derek Forbort is on the IR. And if you haven't heard the Milan Lucic story, why he's a piece of shit, one, Brian Miller called him a piece of shit, and the other thing is that he accused of beating his wife, so or choking her out or something along those lines. Not a good dude. All right. Sabres projected lines today: Skinner, Middlestat, and Tage Thompson, Zach Benson, Cousins, and Paterka, Jost, Krebs, Okposo. And my guess, they didn't have my update on daily face off today, but my guess is that Robinson will draw in. Um, I don't know if these lines are completely accurate. I don't know that I would put Roseanne and Olafson with Robinson. I would probably move Krebs off of the third line, or move Roseanne and Olafson up and have Jost and Okposo with Robinson. I think that makes more sense as a line. But with a new player, sometimes you just don't get the updates. I checked on Twitter, which is probably the most up to date that you can get, and didn't see anything as far as lines go heading into tonight's game. The defensive pairings, Rasmus Dahlin may play. He's been uh, dealing with some. Paul Hamilton said that he's dealing with some nagging issues, and I responded that I didn't know he was married. But yeah, Rasmus Dahlin is uh, game time decision, I guess is how you say it. If he doesn't play, I don't know how any of these defensive pairings go. But you'll have Samuelson, Yoki and Power, Clifton and Eric Johnson, and I would expect Ryan Johnson to draw into the lineup if Rasmus Dahlin can't go. Although I'd rather have Ryan Johnson in there, even if Dahlin can go in place of either Clifton or Johnson. Probably Clifton because I've just not been a fan of his game this season. Sabres goalies tonight. We've got word that Devin Levi is going to start. He was the first off the ice for the goaltenders during practice, so that is a good sign that he is the starter for tonight. Eric Comrie will be backing up. UPL is still battling sickness, and Hopefully, we'll have him back for our next game at home against Montreal, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Our scratches, possibly Darlene day to day, Tage Thompson IR, or well, I have Thompson on there still. I'll have to delete that. But Bryson, the question I have with Jacob Bryson is, why do we have him on the lineup? Why is he taking up a roster spot at this point? Um, you have kept him off the ice for all of but 2 games this season. Um, if he needs to play, he would have to go down to Rochester just to get into game shape at this point. He's been out so long. Um, I think you take the chance and send him down for a non-conditioning stint. Just send him down through waivers. If we lose him, we lose him. I don't know that Jacob Bryson is a long-term solution for Buffalo. And bring up somebody that you can actually plug into the lineup, so you don't have send down a Brandon Byro, or don't have to send down a Lucas Rusek. Reward some of these guys that are playing really well in Rochester, and you can bench a guy that's not pulling his weight on the forward core. Tonight's odds per DraftKings: play responsibly. Play responsibly. Buffalo 1.5 are getting a goal and a half as the road dog. Over under is 6 because Boston's got some ridiculous goaltenders and they don't think that Buffalo's going to score anything. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd take the goal and a half for the Sabres at this point. Let's see. Keys to the game tonight. 3 keys. Start on time. Self-explanatory. I mean, you keep getting scored on and falling behind. It's every game it feels like it's either 2 or 3 nothing by the end of the first period. It's tough to watch. Score first, please score first, please. I don't care if we lose 5-1, but we score first. That's just a step in the right direction. Uh, it's so tiring to watch them, fight from behind and continue to fail. And then don't embarrass us. Yeah, I don't really want it to be 5-1. Play a strong game. Keep up with these guys. I, you know, yes, they're 17 points ahead of us, but don't embarrass us. Let's see. We've done the player profile on this date, December 7th, 2022. So last year was the day that Tage against the Machine, erupted for 5 goals as the Sabres beat Columbus 9-4. Don't know if Eric Robinson was on the ice for that game and how much of a minus he was that night, or did he score? Who knows? Let's do the farm report. There's no update for the Rochester Americans. They haven't played since our last broadcast. They're off until Friday, where they play the Charlotte Checkers, the Florida Panthers top farm club. But we have some movement on the Jacksonville Icemen. They are 10-7-2, currently second in the ECHL Eastern Division South, uh, Eastern Conference South Division. They pounded Savannah, the Vegas Golden Knights ECHL team, 4-0 on Tuesday. They play the Norfolk Admirals, which is a fitting name for Norfolk. Um, the Winnipeg Jets ECHL Farm Club. That is a Friday game. So we'll have a report on Saturday night when we play the Montreal Canadiens, talking about the Rochester Americans and the Jacksonville Icemen and how they did in their Friday night games. The week ahead, we've got Montreal on Saturday. Uh, and then on Monday, we've got Arizona coming to town. So those are 2 home games. And then we go on the road for 3, starting with the December 13th game, which is a Wednesday against the Colorado Avalanche. Then we're back on it. I think it's Colorado, then Vegas, then Arizona. But it's a game every other day here for the Buffalo Sabres. Um, Here's another thing. I mean, we're talking about the Sabres schedule getting really, really fast. Um, if you look at the standings, where the gulf between where we're at and the teams that we're chasing is getting bigger because you're seeing teams like Tampa winning 2 in a row. The Toronto is 6-2-2 in their last 10. They still have more regulation losses than they do regulation wins. They've won a ton in overtime, but they're picking up points. They're now 6 points ahead of the Sabres, with 4 games in hand. The, Canadians are ahead of us, 25 points, so they're 3 points ahead of us, with a game in hand. The Ottawa Senators are only 2 points behind the Buffalo Sabres. They've only played 20 games. They have 6 games in hand on the Buffalo Sabres. Now you can say, well, that means their schedule is gonna get messed up here soon. They're gonna be playing a lot of back-to-backs, and that's probably true, but I think they can make up 2 points in 6 games. So, Sabres have got to turn it around if they have any hope, any even just extending, the competitive part of the season beyond New Year's. Um, we may be just looking at the World Juniors just for respite, from the Sabres' woes. But if they wanna make a serious run at this season, they've got to turn it around starting tonight, starting on this Western road the 2 games at home this weekend, not play like crap at home like they have, um, and then get on the road and play well. One of the things, they were a sub 500 team on the at home last season, but the only reason they were in the fight, they were really phenomenal on the road. They played really well on the road. That's not the case this season. They're 5-7 at home. They are 5-7-2 on the road. Um, so they are consistently shitty. And again, they've gotta figure it out. Negative 16 goal differential so far. Ottawa, despite being behind us, actually a plus team. So um, yeah, so that's where we're at. It's like I said, it was a hard to get up for the show because it's just hard talking about a team that is crap right now. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm feeling. It's a struggle bus. Oh, I forgot to do comments. What is up, Jasper? Thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Bruins, yeah, Bruins are going better right now. Pasta is phenomenal. Um, yeah, Swayman is sick. There's a bug going around the NHL because Ukko Pekka Luukkonen is also sick. We've had a couple players, Henry Jokiharju, out for a bit. Jordan Greenway before I think that might have been more of a personal leave than anything. Um, yeah, Lucic deserves whatever he's going to get when he goes to trial. I think it's fairly soon. I think they're turning this around like in January when they send him to trial. Uh, yeah, the Bruins aren't going to go easy on us. There is still a rivalry and a hatred between Buffalo and and Boston, not just because the whole Milan Lucic situation. The owner of the Boston Bruins is actually from Buffalo. Um, and, it goes deep. The Mayday goal happening against Boston. Um, there's just all kinds of history between the Sabres and the Bruins, and exacerbated by the fact that they were in the same division. And it's going to be a tough game. We don't get a night off when we play the Bruins. No matter how sorry they feel for us, it's 2 points is 2 points. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully, the Buffalo Sabres can pull something out tonight. I'm not hopeful. Hopefully, I can be eating crow here on Saturday night. Our next episode is Saturday night at 6 p.m. taking on the Montreal Canadiens. The preview of the game that night, and we'll talk to you all then. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you later.